let's have a little talk here, real
Okay,
quick.
let's have a talk, sir. Let's have a
Let's
talk.
have a little talk real quick.
I know you've been looking forward to this talk. Well, go ahead.
So, what are your thoughts about inspiration? Inspired by.
What are my thoughts by inspiration and
So
inspired
like
by?
when you see someone decide to take something that someone else did, you think that's like inspiration? Like we were inspired by what they did, so we did the same exact thing, or do you kind of look at it just like, oh, you just copied it? What are your thoughts on that?
No, I mean, there's a lot of things that is definitely been copied from other games when it comes to Destiny. I mean, like I said, in general, I think the whole thought process that Destiny is a very unique game is definitely not the case. There is certain things about Destiny that are unique, but it's literally deprived from so many different systems, so many different things that just kind of marry well into it. I was giving you a hard time the other day. Yes, they took a lot of things that Warframe was doing and they just
really?
they iterated. Listen, they did. They iterated, but guess what? It's doing better than Warframe. So
So
whatever.
what does that have to do with anything?
Listen, whatever Warframe did,
Is it still copying?
They found a way to make it better.
Is it still copying?
Okay.
I'm asking, is it still copying?
Yes, they copied from the beginning. Yes, you're right.
Okay, that's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Now you just because Destiny the game is doing better overall than Warframe the game doesn't necessarily mean that the implementation of the copying is going to be as at the same level of the original or better, right?
Right.
Because, like, for example, the Division tried to copy Destiny with raids, wasn't the same, did not work. Clearly they should have just stuck with what they were good at: incursions, dark zone, survival.
Right.
If they would have stuck to those modes, I think the Division 2 would be in a far different place than it is right now.
I agree with that.
Like, you gotta remain unique in some ways. Now, do you see with them copying things that Warframe has done? And when I say copying things that Warframe has done, they came out with a mode where you can like get a ship or something, and like I actually sullied my SSD by reinstalling Destiny on Epic Games Store. I figured why not, since like all the content's available. And as soon as I came in, they did their thing where they just throw you into like the next story mission. Like, you don't get to go to the tower, you can't look at your inventory. No, I mean, you can look at your inventory. You can't do anything else but just do the story mission. So I said, bet, all right, I'll do the story mission.
Exit out of that. You can actually exit out of that story mission.
Oh, really? Okay, didn't know that. Didn't know that was an option. Well, I did it. That's the gameplay you're seeing right now. And so at the end of it, I see, a couple of NPC characters, and they're talking about like a ship and doing all kinds of stuff. Just like, man, that looks really familiar. That sounds really familiar. That sounds like Railjack, which is a expansion that Digital Streams did for Warframe back in March of last year, 2021. So it's about a year and a half old now. But if anyone's thinking like, oh, with slow-mo, there's no way they came out with this stuff for Destiny in a year and a half. That's not enough time. And I would agree that's not enough time. But Digital Streams, being like half the size of Bungie, had announced Railjack probably about 3 years ago. So 3-4 years ago, and then just now brought it out last year. So clearly with the pop that Railjack got from a lot of not just Warframe players, but people in the community, saw them, was like, wow, they're doing that. Like, you got like space battles now, you got ship battles now. That's pretty crazy. That's ship possible.
Battles are actually pretty cool.
Yeah, actually, matter of fact, let me pull that up, because I got some of that as well. I'll bring that in here. This is Warframe on my Xbox Series S because they still ain't got cross save in yet, which is another issue I have with digital streams. But you know, it is what it is. You know. But let me get to the ship battles here, which is pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome stuff. Warframe has lit content. It's just digital streams isn't. Well, maybe now that Tencent's backing them, and you see that they're making like multiple games now, and they're talking about doing a whole bunch of other stuff. Maybe Tencent might actually provide them with the financial backing that they have needed for their entire existence, really, to kind of do some of the stuff that they've always wanted to do. But the railjack is cool because railjack, you're watching the ship battles here, right? But like at some point, after I destroy all the fighters and I disable the carriers, I jump out of my ship, fly to their ship, and then actually invade their ship and destroy everybody in there and set off the reactors so the ship blows up. Like, that's just like some really like off the wall cool stuff that Warframe does that no one else is doing. And of course, if someone does something cool and it's innovative, there are going to be other people that's going to copy it. Mm-hmm. I just wanted, the Destiny fans to acknowledge that they was copying another looter shooter. Since all the Destiny fans that I run into always are championing how we're the only looter shooter out here that's doing this. We're so innovative and and Bungie's so great. and I just wanted them to acknowledge that they y'all just jocking everybody else's style. Y'all have become the Fortnite of looter shooters. But
yet you love Fortnite.
I was about to say, because look, if you play Fortnite, right, you see a tornado pop up on the map every now and then and destroy everything. You can ride the tornado and everything. When did they introduce that? Oh, right around the time Battlefield 2042 came out with their tornado on their massive 128 player map, right?
When did they implement being able to revive and bring people back?
When Apex Legends came out and introduced that.
Literally within the first week. That was in the game. So listen, man, there's nothing wrong with games copying other games. I mean, I was giving you a hard time yesterday, but it's just, I always look at that conversation where people just try to talk down on Destiny, and it's like, listen, I understand if Destiny isn't for you. It's a game that it asks a lot of you when it comes to your time. It literally is a money sink. It's a time sink. It's you don't play any other game sink unless you find a way to break away every once in a while, like somebody like Ashley, like shout out to Luca, was able to do it for a while. But once that game gets its claws in you, it's kind of hard to get out of it because it has everything that you could possibly want in that type of game. And they're doing an even better job of promoting it. It's free to play in like every sense of the word. DLC is not getting sunset anymore.
I think that's a Sony thing. Yeah, Sony is giving them the
bandwidth to be able to do something like that.
Right.
So I mean, in general, it's good to see that a game that people say is dead and don't know why people play this game still has legs, and not only legs, they have content that you can say is releasing on a somewhat timely basis, and we know we got content for this game for at least the next 2 to 3 years.
That's the one thing I will say that Bungie has done better than any other developer in the looter shooter genre is the delivery of content in a timely manner, sticking to deadlines and not having too many delays, and really, and even though they may say some Bungie fans or Destiny fans may say they don't listen to them, if you look at what has happened with other looter shooters in regards to complaints about certain things, Bungie listens to their community far more
than anybody else,
than anyone else does.
That's true.
And it's because of that you guys tend to stick around and keep playing and coming back to the game and playing the game, because there's certain things that certain levels of quality and certain level of things that you tend to expect from Bungie and Destiny that has remained true, and it's the reason why that you feel comfortable coming back after taking a break once new expansions come out and stuff. And that's something that, like, Massive Entertainment, which is no longer the developer working on the Division now, wasn't able to do. Even into the effect of Gearbox, which is like the grandfather of looter shooters with Borderlands, really wasn't able to do, because a lot of people kind of felt that with Borderlands 3, outside of just the story being absolutely awful, that a lot of people felt like there was some issues with the skill trees,
Right.
not having the kind of diversity that they had with Borderlands 2, some of the weapons and balancing and things like that. That Gearbox was just like, yeah, we ain't doing that. Stop asking. And and that's just it. You see pushback from Bungie, but even when you see the pushback from Bungie still tends to listen to their community more. At least it seems to be that way to me.
Well, it also helps that every game that is supposed to be something that supposed to be in the wheelhouse of what Destiny is falls on its face. You know, Halo is like literally the closest competitor to that, and it actually had an opportunity to pull a lot of people from Destiny. I don't think any game will truly pull people away like 100%, but that game had the opportunity to do it. But them in the situation that game is currently in, it's
I
just
mean,
not.
Halo's
It's
never
not.
really gonna pull, like,
It's not. But it's the
because it's
closest
not a
thing when
looter
it comes.
shooter.
Well, the thing is the gunplay. Gunplay is what saves Destiny for a lot of people. Like you can have the best content loop, you can have the best overall storylines, but if your overall gunplay or just gameplay in general is very good, that's why people stick with this game. Because we remember, it's not a hard truth to tell people that Bungie sucked at storytelling for about 4 years.
Really,
Like there was no story in this game.
I still contend they're not really that great at storytelling. They just stole all of the hard drives that Joseph Staten left there before he left, after he wrote them a great story, and they said, nah, gamers is too dumb to understand this story, so we ain't gonna do that. We're gonna do some other convoluted piece of crap. And then said, wow, our stories suck. Let's go find what Joseph wrote and then kind of mesh that into what we're already doing. So when Joseph's notes are over, I wonder how good the storytelling's still gonna be. But continue. My bad.
No, you're good. I do think, because they are using a lot of the storylines that Joseph set up for Destiny back in 2013.
I also don't think it's the best gunplay that's out there, but still, go ahead.
Okay, well, you agree to disagree. I don't know what